So I'm sitting here in pretty much middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and I decided to make a little quick update video and kind of a recap on what I've done so far on my trip. So today is day 17, I believe. I've been to, we started in Dallas, and I started with Raleigh, and we went to Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. Did I skip Colorado? I don't know. Let's start over. Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, California. We stayed in Fresno, and then San Francisco. Then I left Raleigh and picked up Alexa and Ethan, and we went to Medford, Oregon, and Portland, then Washington, Idaho, Montana, then Idaho/Wyoming. Then I left them there, and now I'm alone. And then since then I've been alone in Wyoming and now Nebraska. So today is day 17. Tomorrow I'm on to South Dakota to see Mount Rushmore, and then staying in middle of nowhere in a motel again. And then North Dakota, where I'm staying with Rebecca's brother and family in Fargo. Then on to Minneapolis, where I'm picking up Melissa. Anyway, and then so on from there. But just kind of a recap of what I've done. Is the glare in my glasses bothering you? Should I take them off? Nah. Don't mind my unwashed hair. No big deal. I'm going to work out soon, so I'm waiting till after that to shower. Anyway, so what have I done so far? I'm just going to go over some highlights of some of the favorite things I did in each city. Okay, so Oklahoma City. We went to the Oklahoma City Bombing Memorial, which was incredible, and I highly recommend it. It's really, really well done. You really feel like you're there, and you feel the chaos and the confusion that they felt that day, and it was a really powerful thing and a beautiful memorial. Anyway, so that was the highlight of Oklahoma City. Then Kansas was really fun. We stayed on a ranch, which I recently learned the difference between a farm and a ranch while in Montana. So it was a ranch, not a farm. And we like to call it middle of nowhere, Kansas. It was great. I loved it. It was just north of a really small town. I think north. Just outside of a really small town with population like 293. And so like not only is that town really small, but they lived 15 miles outside of that. But it was such a blast. They had like a whole bunch of animals. They had goats and cattle and horses and like 13 cattle dogs. And it was awesome, and I really, really enjoyed that. And there were just wheat fields as far as the eye can see. We had a nice little photo shoot in the wheat fields. So that was Kansas. Oh, and then we also saw the Cathedral of the Great Plains, or Cathedral of the Plains, something like that, which is one of the 8 wonders of Kansas. Did you know there are 8 wonders of Kansas? I still haven't looked up what the other 7 are. I think one of them might be the 8,000-pound prairie dog. We saw signs for that for a long time, but we did not stop. Anyway. After Kansas was Colorado, which I spent some time with the Zoofelds, which was great. I love them so much. And we went to the top of Lookout Mountain, where they have Buffalo Bill's grave and museum. And we ate a buffalo burger. Delicious. Kind of just tastes like a burger, but it was really, really good burger. Anyway, then from Colorado, we went to New Mexico, and we stopped in Santa Fe on our way to Albuquerque, and Santa Fe was great. It was so, like, quintessential New Mexico, exactly what I expected. And it, all the Southwestern-style buildings and things, and there was all these great art, people set up with art things. Anyway, but what the destination there was this church, this cathedral there that's pretty old, and it has this miraculous staircase, and you think like, how could a staircase be miraculous? Well, let me tell you. It's like this spiral staircase that has 2 complete 360 turns. So the legend of the story is that the man who built it was so there's this chapel that I think like nuns or something live in. I don't know. And so the head lady, whatever, I don't really remember the story. So they had been like searching and searching for an architect to build stairs to this balcony in their chapel. And all these architects would come and say it can't be done. Like there's no way to build a staircase here. It's just not going to support it. But then miraculously this gray-haired man comes, and he builds this staircase. He spends all Christmas season there alone building this staircase. And then before they could even pay him, when they went to go pay him, he had like, this is really annoying me, he had like vanished. Nobody ever knows where he went. They didn't pay him and he was gone, like never to be seen again. And this staircase, okay, so that's like a little weird in itself, but this staircase is like incredible. All these architects have come and looked at it. It was even on Unsolved Mysteries, like that. Remember that TV show back in the day? And nobody can duplicate this staircase. Like, there's no support beam, no center support beam, and and there's no nails in it. There's only wooden pegs, and they say that all these architects say they have no idea how it's still standing, that it should have collapsed due to gravity with like one step, you know, but it was used daily for like 90 years or something. Anyway, it's really, really cool. So we saw that. And then, okay, so that was New Mexico. We stayed in Albuquerque with Charlie and Opal, which was this great couple that we stayed with. Oh my gosh, loved them. And then we went to, Arizona. And Arizona was a really long day. I probably need to talk faster because I think that this will shut off after 10 minutes. Or is it 15? I don't know. Anyway, so Arizona. We went to the meteor crater, which was really, really cool. We decided like 1 hour before that we were going to go there. It was kind of like on a whim we went there. And I loved it. Let me tell you. It's this huge crater, like from a meteor, right? I mean, obviously it's a meteor crater. And it's a mile diameter. Like, it's a huge crater, and it's the most well-preserved meteor crater on Earth. And so it was really, really cool to see. And they had like pieces of the meteor, and the piece of the meteor was like, you know, like the size of my suitcase, like a normal size, you know, suitcase. So not huge, and it was probably smaller than that even. And they say that it weighed like 1,400 pounds. Like, that's weird. They say it weighs more than like a normal-sized car on the road today. Weird. Anyway, so we went there, and then we went to the Grand Canyon, which was really great, and I'm notorious for being unimpressed with things. I was impressed by the Grand Canyon. It was pretty grand. So we enjoyed that. Then we stayed in Page. Then the next day we went to St. George and went to church there, and then then we went to the St. George Temple, where they have a visitor center there. So we took the little tour there, and we watched this. They have this video there called God's Plan for the Family, I think, or God's Great Plan. No, God's Plan for the Family, and it was so good. Like, I need to buy that somehow because I loved it. I was like crying all over the place. Anyway, so we really enjoyed that. Then next was Las Vegas. And Las Vegas was a lot of fun. I mean, it's, you know, you're surrounded by sin, and so it's a little bit, you just have to, like, focus and not pay attention to anything, but it wasn't too bad during the day. And I think it would be awful to be a man because, you know, they have those little, like, cards of the women, and luckily they, like, avoid you, but they, like, you know, put them all up in the men's face, and I don't know how they could handle it because I don't think I could. It was hard for me to handle it as a woman. Anyway, so there was that. And then we walked all the way to, we walked around like all day. I tracked it on my phone, and I'm pretty sure we walked close to like 8 miles that day because we were just like walking all around Vegas. And we walked all the way down to the sign, you know, the iconic sign that says, "Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas." And it was, like, you think it's like right on the strip. No, it's like way, way down. We start walking and walking and walking and walking, and we're like about to give up, and then we finally see it way off in the distance. And we walked all the way there and took our picture and came back. And it was worth it. I'm glad we went. Then we went to California, and we stayed in Fresno. We didn't do a whole lot in Fresno. Saw the temple, stayed with Susan's family. Then went up to San Francisco, which was a lot of fun. We went to, that's where I got Alexa and Ethan. We went to the Golden Gate Bridge, and then we went to that like crooked street, you know, Lombard Street. It's like really, really crooked and steep. We went there, and then we ate on the pier. Then we went through the redwoods on the next day up to Oregon. We took a pretty big detour and went through the redwoods, which were so cool. Like, I stood inside a redwood. That's awesome. It was so beautiful. Like, we stopped a couple times and got out and like explored and took pictures, and it was so cool. Like blow your mind cool. I mean, there was this huge tree that was 1,500 years old that was like, I can't remember the diameter, something ridiculous, like 26 feet or something, like huge. Anyway, so we did that, and then in Oregon, let me tell you, Oregon is like the weirdest place I've ever been, and I don't think anybody can understand that unless they've been to Oregon. Like, because I didn't get it. I was like, whatever, it's just another state, like, I don't know. And I really hope this doesn't cut off at 10 minutes and erase all that I've done. I hope it goes to 15, because I'm just going to keep talking, and if if it ends, I'm going to have to go back and say it all again. But we all know I don't mind talking. Anyway, so Portland, crazy. A bajillion homeless people, like more, oh good, it kept going. More homeless people than I've ever seen, and it's almost like the city supports them. They all had like new sleeping bags, and like the soup kitchen was like so hoppin', and there was this weird tent community, whatever. So we also went to Powell's Books, which is like this really, really big bookstore that's like 2 city blocks wide, and they call it the City of Books, and it really is. Like there are books on anything and everything. They have like so many, it's crazy. It was like almost overwhelming. It was like I don't even know what to do because there's too many to choose from. Then we also went to Voodoo Donuts, which they have like a bunch of crazy donut flavors like bacon and maple and like Captain Crunch and Fruit Loops and stuff like that. We got this lemon, easy peasy lemon keezy. I don't know. It was good if you like donuts. I don't really like donuts, but it was good because I love lemon. I ate like half of it maybe. But it was cheap, and it was touristy, whatever. We also went to the Columbia River Gorge in Oregon, and we went to the Multnomah Falls, which were really, really beautiful, and we took a few short little hikes around there. There's also the Wakena Falls. Anyway, then we went up to Seattle, which Seattle is one of my very favorite cities ever. I love Seattle, and it was awesome. Okay, we did a whole lot, but the highlight was, you know where they throw the fish? Like the counter that's famous where they throw the fish for the customers or whatever? I got to catch one. Like, I told him my little story about my trip, and he was like, okay, well, give her your purse and roll up your sleeves. And so we like tossed the fish back and forth, and I was really awful. I dropped it a bunch of times, but he let me go up there, and I caught somebody's fish, like somebody's actual fish that they were like buying. I don't know. It was crazy, but it was fun. So we did that, and we also went to the gum wall, and the only thing that and a ferry ride and a bunch of other stuff all around Seattle, and the original Starbucks. But the one thing we did that I had never done before is the Fremont Troll, which is this big, huge troll that's underneath a bridge, and apparently it's on 10 Things I Hate About You. I don't remember it from that movie, but it was cool. So we went and saw that. What's after Seattle? Then we went to Idaho, which was really beautiful. We stayed with Sharon's parents, who lived north of Coeur d'Alene, and then we went to Coeur d'Alene the next day, which was so pretty. Like, I loved Coeur d'Alene. I would love to spend some time there someday. I really liked it. And then we went to, what was next? Montana. We stayed with like a friend of a friend's parents. So we stayed with I've stayed with a lot of people that I barely know, you know, like friends of friends who are pretty much strangers to me. But this was probably the furthest connection because I didn't even know their daughter. Like, normally I know who referred me to them, but this was like a reference from a reference, if that makes sense. Anyway, but Montana was really enjoyable. I really liked it. We got to explore this abandoned like house that was just across the street from them. Apparently it's one of the top five oldest buildings in Montana, and it dates back like pre-Civil War. Crazy. And then the next day we went to Virginia City, which is a ghost town, which isn't really a ghost town anymore because there's like a tourist attraction now, but they even had like a functioning courthouse and post office and stuff. So, but it was still fun to like go around and see it. And then we went to Yellowstone, and Yellowstone was great, but because I had seen so much like beautiful stuff the couple days before, I think it kind of like dwarfed it, and I feel kind of bad about that. Like, I wasn't able to enjoy it as much as I should have, but it was still really cool. Like, we saw a bunch of bison that crossed the road and slowed down traffic, and we saw some elk, and we saw just a little glimpse of 2 moose and 1 coyote. We did not see any bears or any wolves, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah, so went through Yellowstone. Oh, and Old Faithful, like, I wasn't like super impressed. I'm glad I saw it and it was cool, I guess, but not so faithful. Like, you kind of have to sit there and wait a long time, and there's like a million people sitting around waiting forever for Old Faithful to go off. I thought it was like you could time it to the second when Old Faithful was going to go off. I don't know, maybe I'm just naive. Whatever. Anyway, so we did that. Then the next day, and then I went to Rexburg the next day, and I saw the Delgados, saw Kevin and Whitney. I was hoping that she would have her baby and I would get to meet Finley, but not so lucky. But it was really great to see them, and I explored Rexburg, and then from this point I was alone. I only have 45 seconds to talk. So then I went to Wyoming last night, stayed in Wyoming, and then now I'm in Chadron, keep saying it wrong, Nebraska. And in Wyoming, most terrifying thing of my life, I was driving through like a forest fire. The whole world was like on fire. Not really, it was just smoke, and I could still see for like a 2 or 3 mile radius, but I was scared. I kept thinking there was going to be like a blazing forest fire, like I was just going to drive right into it, but whatever. Anyway, that was a quick 15-minute recap of the past 17 days, and I've had a lot of fun, and I'll continue to update everyone as I go along. If you made it this far, thanks. See ya.